There we are, live on custom streaming service.
It's just loading. Give it 1 second.
Okay.
Takes a bit of time. Great, you're all set.
Okay.
You're live.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the Village of Mamaroneck Planning Board meeting of December 9th, 2020. Our last meeting of the calendar year, but our first meeting of the Village of Mamaroneck municipal year. And as a result of that, we have some new faces. So first, I'd like to introduce Ellen Styler, our new member of the Planning Board. She replaces Lou Mendez, who term limited off. And we also have with us Ashley Lay, who some of you may remember from a few months ago. Ashley is the new Village's consulting planner. She's with the planning firm AKRF, and she will be with us for the next year or so, acting as our consulting planner, working with our village planner, Amber. Amber, is it Novak or Novak?
Novak.
Novak, that's what I thought, Novak. Okay, so I hope everyone is well, and we will start the meeting with minutes. We have minutes from our September 9th meeting. I have some comments on them, but before I go, does anybody else have any comments on them?
I have one very minor typo on page 5. Item 2A, the second line should be site plan, not sit plan.
Oh.
And since we do not have benefit of legal counsel tonight, let me just, Ellen, I'll mention to you, since these are minutes that we're discussing from September 9th, before you were on the planning board, I would suggest that you not vote on them unless you actually viewed the meeting online and wish to vote. But otherwise, I think this heavy lifting is going to be up to Kathy and Richard and me. So
I think actually, Ellen, since tonight's meeting is so close to the annual meeting at which she was appointed, which was just Monday, she hasn't had a chance to sign the oath of office yet. So as a result, she can't vote on anything tonight. She's here to observe and to get familiar with the application before us, because by the next time we meet, which will be in January, she will be all set up with her paperwork. Right? Is that correct?
That's great. Yes, thank you.
We spoke earlier.
Perfect.
I would have been surprised, because you can't just go into Village Hall and have Sally Roberts notarize your oath of office now because of the pandemic. So there was no way that was going to happen in like less than 24 hours or so. Okay, I have some comments, also typos. The gist of the minutes were fine. On page 7, at the bottom of the page, where we're summarizing the process of the approval of the minutes, and there's several sets of minutes there. Each one of them, from A through E, should have a sentence saying the following typos were noted, just so that we don't go from minutes and then bullet, 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 bullet. And then on the first set, which is on the bottom of page 7, the third bullet is, I'm not sure what it actually means, but it sounds a little harsh. Don't mention Brian. And just having that bullet there is not relevant or to anything. And unless we can actually explain what it means, we should just remove it.
yeah, I think the same thing on page 8, where we don't mention Brian and Christy. I'm not sure what that means.
Now, see, I didn't pick that one up. Oh yeah, don't mention Brian and Christy. Yeah, I'm not sure what that refers to. I did not go back and look at the meeting, but that just having that little phrase on a piece of paper doesn't really read well. Anybody else have any other? Thanks for picking that up, Cindy. Anybody else have any other comments on this?
No.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended tonight?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Now, Mr. Bernie's not here. I'll get to that in a minute, but he should be marked on as recused. But he's not here to vote. Okay, I'll call the roll. Cindy,
Yes,
Richard,
Yes,
and I vote yes. And as we noted, Ellen will be a voting member at the next meeting. Okay, so much for the minutes. The next item of business is a application from the Orient Beach Club, address to be determined. The planning board has a site plan review in front of it. We need to open a public hearing, but before I do, I just would like to read an email from John Verney, who states, "I will recuse myself on this application because it concerns an adjoining property to my own property. And since this is the only matter on the agenda for tonight, he asked me to note that recusal for the record." So noted, and becomes part of the minutes, and I have the email for part of the file if we need it. Okay, so we have an application before us, and before we ask the applicant to present it to us, I need a motion to open the public hearing.
so moved.
second,
Thank you, Richard.
the least I could do.
All in favor? Was it just two?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Public hearing is open, and who from the applicant will start the discussion should indicate appropriately so you can be elevated and whatever to panelists. I think you have to raise your hand. There's Andrew Spatz. Wait, that's a young Andrew Spatz. No.
Where am I?
Okay.
Can you hear me, Madam Chair?
Yes, we can. I
Can
think.
you see me? Because I can't see me.
That's, yes. Wait, where did you go? There you are.
Okay, very good. If we could, I would love to promote the other individuals who are going to be participating in the presentation. I actually have the easy lifting tonight, if that's possible. Should I give you the names or? Oh, Amber, I can't hear you.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, if we could promote Peter Boschio, he's the senior project
Yep.
manager from Studio JBD. Nunzio Pietrasante, Michael Murphy of Murphy Brothers, Mark Sheehan, the GM of Oriented Beach Club, and Elo Comfort, who is the president of the Orienta Beach Club. Wow, that's some picture there, Mr. Murphy. Woof, I got to improve mine.
Well, that looks like
You're
something
making me look bad there. I don't know.
you put on Tinder. I don't know.
Good evening. I think everybody's on. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Planning Board. Before I start, I just want to preface and welcome Ms. Styler to the Planning Board. It's a pleasure to virtually see you. And also Ashley and Amber Novak on your position as village planner. You all serve a pivotal role in this community, not only as a very active member of this community, but also as an applicant's attorney. And we wish you much luck with your endeavors and your new positions and pivotal role, and we know you'll serve the community well. Again, Madam Chair, if I could begin, my name is Andrew Spatz. I'm the attorney for the applicant. And this is Oriented Beach Club. And I know there were some questions about the address. And hopefully one day I'll have a big enough house where I have like 19 different streets at my property. But in the short term, I'm going to utilize 1025 Rushmore Avenue. But again, my clients can clarify any questions that you may have. The application this evening is for the replacement of an existing patio and installation of an overhang over the existing elevated terrace. By way of background, as many of you know, and the public who may be attending this meeting virtually tonight, Oriented Beach Club is a private beach club facility with dining and recreational uses, including beach, boating, tennis, swimming, pools, basketball, and platform tennis. During the course of improvements, the existing patio that's currently there, inclusive of the walks and steps, would be replaced, and it will be increased by 692 square feet, but will include a water retention system where none currently exists. I think that's an important part here. The improvements will enhance the functionality and flow of the exterior patio. The patio area will be fully handicap accessible. The net area increased is actually located away from the neighboring residential property, and it's located closer to the Westchester Day School where that property is located. And this was done so because it will complement the use, obviously, the Westchester Day School Monday through Friday when we hopefully will be able to return back to school. And the patio is going to be generally used on the weekends and when the school is not in use. And it was an important approach for the club to take. As we know, Oriented Beach Club is a very well-respected entity here in the community, respectful of their neighbors. So they made sure that any increase of this would be away from the adjoining residential property. Obviously, as part of this, there will also be new landscaping as part of the improvements. The improvements will also include the installation of an overhang, which will permit greater use of the outdoor patio during inclement weather. And also, given our global pandemic, provides additional options for outdoor dining. Now, the documents, it was an interesting journey to actually get here this evening. And I thank several individuals who are on our forum this evening for making this possible. But we provided a lot of information for this application, which in addition to just our normal application and short form environmental assessment form, we've got a completed site plan, exterior lighting plan, SWIP checklist, landscaping plan review checklist, photographs reflecting the as-is condition. As the improvements, as you could tell from the photographs, will certainly maintain the natural serenity and ecosystem that you now find on the coastal property. Obviously, there's also other various layout plans, existing proposed impervious surface plans, erosion control plans. That's why we have our engineer and our experts online this evening. So I'm going to actually turn it over to the pros and welcome any comments that they may have or any questions that Madam Chair or members of the Planning Board may have with regards to the application.
Thank you, Mr. Spatz.
Thank you.
It was a little confusing, the initial review of the application. So tonight we're going to get like an overview. If possible, we will type it for SECRA and determine SECRA and then send you to HCZM for an in-depth review before you come back to the planning board.
Understood.
Okay, so that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish today, but it would be good if we could hear from
Sure.
experts with regards to the project. It was very nice that you started with one sentence, replace the existing patio and overhang. Because it took.
I only learn from the best, Chair. I only learn from the best.
Figure that one out. So,
Appearing before y'all before. I'm learning.
so thank you. Okay, so who's up? Who's up first? Who's on first?
Let's see. Who do we have? Hold on a second. Peter or Nunzio, would you like to walk us through the aesthetics and any?
I could start on the architectural, that'd be fine. Good evening, my name is Peter Borsio. I'm Senior Project Manager for Jefferson Group Architecture. I graduated in 1985 from Wentworth Institute with a Bachelor's of Architecture, and I've been practicing since in the field. Don't get to present to too many planning boards. Most of that's done by the principals, but I have done a few in front of the New Jersey planning boards for a lot of my projects down south. So to begin with, we're here to represent or present to you, the Oriented Beach Club, the addition along the backside of the club. Can I share my screen?
You need to get rights. Amber will take care of that.
You should be able to share screen now. Please let me know if you see that. Okay, great.
There you go.
Can you see that? Can everybody see the plan I have in front of me? The
Yes.
existing visual? Okay.
Yes.
So to start with, this represents a copy of what's existing out at the Oriental Beach Club along the what is the east side of the club, southeast side of the club. Right now, it's a half radius patio coming to the patio off the sun porch. Two sets of stairs directly off the sun porch, and another staircase off on the left-hand side from various rooms back down to grade. And there's a small, somewhat accessible ramp for handicap accessibility. This represents roughly what the existing conditions are out there right now. What we're proposing along the back side of the club, excuse me, is a patio. Is a renovation to the patio and a terraced level off the back side, off the back of the club. We're going to have dining on both levels. At the upper level terrace, it's approximately 1,193 square feet, which encompasses all the deck level, which is at the same elevation as the clubhouse. Again, we have we're adding a service bar to the to this addition, which is on the left-hand side of this addition, and a service station, which is on the right-hand side. The roof is covering the entire upper terrace area, except for what is the service station. That'll be uncovered and protected. Right now, it's undetermined, but mostly we're thinking maybe an umbrella or some type of canvas covering. The shape of the lower terrace is changing a little bit. We're changing the shape of a little bit to connect to an existing walkway and to accommodate the dining. Nunzio, our civil engineer, will expand on the amount of extended coverage for the patio. We will be adding full accessibility to this level and to the terrace level, which is not available now. The terrace, the new terrace will allow dining on the outside along the water view, which is not accessible now at the deck level or at the main level of the clubhouse. It's only accessible down at the lower patio. So accessibility will be available to both levels of this new patio feature.
Hey, Peter, can I just interject for a second? I just want to make sure so the board knows the layer where you see 28 seats, that's existing right now. So there is a level there now. So we're not actually installing that. There's currently, as is, that upper level. So the upper terrace that we'll call. And then there's also that lower terrace. So I don't want the board to be confused that this is something they're going to be building. There is right now present a upper terrace and a lower terrace. I just want to clarify that because I know there may have been some confusion.
Yeah, that represents.
Right, Peter, I can interject.
That's what's represented right there now. Yes. However, the upper terrace that's there now doesn't allow for handicap accessible dining.
Right.
The new terrace will allow for handicap accessible dining. So this is a quick rendering of what's intended along that backside of the club addition. We are planning a roofed area coming off of a spring point that's there now, keeping all the features, keeping everything that we're not changing any of the existing architectural features of the existing building. We're creating this new flat roofed area, which is going to be covering the upper terrace. You can see in the rendering the concept for the service bar. The railings will be are intended to be stainless steel with cable railings. Again, just to keep as much light coming in and dining. The stairs from the upper level down to the patio or down to the grade level, and the handicap accessible ramp up to the new patio level are also illustrated in the rendering. The materials will be PVC or some type of wood or cladding. The deck is concrete with a stone veneer to match the stone veneer of the clubhouse. So the intent is to try to keep it as much of the existing building features carried forward to the addition. Almost like it was their original. Let's see. No windows, no door. There won't be any additional windows or doors added to this plan also. It's wide, it's open. There are a few, we're adding some skylights into the roof area. Try to get light back into the clubhouse area because of the large overhang. We were concerned about having the existing rooms become dark. So we're trying to, we're sensitive to that. We're bringing as much light back into the existing clubhouse through the use of skylights on that flat roof area. The service bar is seasonal. Well, this whole area is seasonal. And Mark Sheen from the club can explain that a little further if it needs be. Again, it's a service bar. It's not a sit-down bar. Just for this, dedicated for this patio dining area, the upper terrace and the lower terrace also. I thought I had some photographs available. I apologize, of the existing conditions.
Madam Chair and members of the planning board, I think that may have been provided in the oh, there you go. I was saying that may have been in the package that was circulated, but here's some photographs.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to clarify, this project is a new standalone project. We have material in that was submitted from 2007 and 2017 that was confusing. It led me to believe that this was a continuation from projects that had started earlier.
No.
But
Madam Chair, I believe there was some confusion with that because there was certain documentation that had been requested previously and certain documents that had absolutely nothing to do with the project at hand. And I do believe that attributed to some of the confusion. The package was a lot more involved than I think it had to be. So I'll let Peter or Nunzio, answer any questions to clarify that. And I certainly, on behalf of the applicant, apologize if it caused any confusion to the planning board.
On behalf of the village, I'm going to apologize to you. We all suffered from some confusion here, but okay, we're clearing it up.
Yes.
We're clean slate. We're starting over. So this has no relationship to any previous projects that were done and letters from the DEC from 2017 or whatever.
That was for the elevated paddleboard tennis. That has, and I know Mark and Elo can speak to that. That's all been closed out, and I'm sure our building inspector could also confirm that.
Any members of the public who might have looked at the documents that were posted on the village's website for this particular project, there are some documents there that are not related to the project. I don't know if, because they were submitted, whether we can remove them. That's a question for someone else. If we can, we will.
Sure, we will certainly, whatever documents that you would like us to, and we can even put it in writing officially, whether we hereby withdraw document, whatever documents that need to be removed from the record, we'll be more than happy to confirm that. That's fine, to avoid any confusion. Absolutely.
I'm just going to ask Amber and Ashley if they could make a note of that as a follow-up item from tonight's meeting.
And I will absolutely follow up with Amber and Ashley in that regard as well.
All the three A's.
Item number 1.
Andrew, Amber, and Ashley.
A's, no, triple A, look at that.
A.
That's the kind of rating I want. All right.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bossio, the architect? No, okay. Who's up next?
I guess I am.
Nunzio, you have to
Nunzio,
speak up a
yeah.
little bit more
Yeah.
into we can't hear you.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Barely.
And for those of you who are involved here, we've been joined by Dan Sarnoff, who's the Assistant Village Manager. Okay.
Nunzio, you want to give it a shot and speak if you can?
Better now or no?
Not so good.
Good?
Do you have a volume control for your phone?
Uh,
Setting on your computer.
The alternative is, I believe, I'm looking at the notice, and maybe, do you want to dial in and speak so we can hear you, Nunzio? There's a phone number.
That's a good idea.
I think my 12 and my 9-year-old for that one. They're the ones who are teaching my tech support. Yeah. Nunzio, do you want me to give you the phone number? Now we can't hear you at all. Nunzio, do me a favor, call 646-558-8656. 646-558-8656. It's not toll free, bud. We got you. Sorry about this.
You
Okay,
good?
we deal with it all the time.
Must be a defective mic.
Okay, you can leave now.
Nunzio, why don't we just try it, if you can, on your cell phone, just call in, and I'm sure they'll be able to patch you through.
Andrew, I don't think he can hear you.
Any better?
Oh,
Yeah,
much better.
Yeah,
Yeah, go, take it. Go with it now. You can hear it. Go with it.
Nothing?
Perfect.
no, we can hear you.
We can hear. Oh, he muted us.
Is there anyone else from your team that was signed up to speak while he works out his technical difficulties?
Well, we do have Mark Shin, again, GM of Oriented Beach Club. Perhaps, I know we had some questions about the address. Elo, who's the president of the
What
club.
I could do is try to dial in, I guess, and use the audio from the phone.
Can you hear us, Mr. Pietro Sante? Because we can hear you perfectly now.
Yeah, you could also send a message to him with the chat feature below to let him know.
Thank you, Dan. Somebody younger.
Nunzio and I go back a little.
Peter,
yes.
could you call Nunzio? Because he can't hear us. Can you call him on his cell and let him know? Please call in. And while you're doing that, just go on mute, and Mark and Elo could address the issues that were raised before the meeting actually started with regard to the address. We can
Yeah,
just get
Pete.
that out of the way.
Okay.
Okay. So
The application came in with a wrong address.
Can you hear us?
No, for some reason, I can't. You can hear me? All right.
I can hear you fine.
Let me go back to the speaker then.
Can we mute?
Amber, can you mute him, please?
he can't hear us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if we mute him, then he won't.
I got you. I got you.
Oh, you got us?
You got it? Okay, let's unmute him. Yeah.
Oh, you can't hear him.
All right.
Ain't technology beautiful?
He needs to unmute himself. You can hear us now? You need to unmute yourself. We muted you while you were on the phone. There you go.
Okay, you got me?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yay, okay.
Okay, we got it. So basically, Peter, do you want to put up that, the screen that you had before? You have my drawings on there, right?
Yes, I do.
You want to, and I'll just go through it and you can,
Sure. Can I get back into the share screen? Is that still accessible?
To be.
Amber, you're muted. There you go.
It should be, all panelists are allowed to share, so it should be good to go.
Okay. Can you see that?
No.
No.
All right, how about that one?
And you're clicking the big green share screen button?
Yep. Let's try this one. Can you see it now?
No.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay.
So Peter, can you go to S1?
SP1 or S1?
I'm sorry, SP1.
There you go. You're on it.
So this basically shows the existing configuration, the upper existing terrace impervious surface, and the lower one is the proposed. And the majority of the additional impervious surface is to the left, which I guess is the southeast. There is, if you look at the existing walkway, it's a little straighter up on top. We have to, because of the new stairs at the lower patio, at the lower terrace, we have to merge into that existing walkway, relocate a portion of that other walkway. So when all is said and done, at the end of the day, the net increase in impervious surface is 693 square feet total. So that's the net increase, and the tabulations are there. If you go to SP2, I guess that's the demo plan, with the existing and demo. So that shows our chain link fence and silt fence and erosion protection and the items that are to be removed as part of the work. It also has the perk test table there that we used in providing for our detention calculations. So that kind of is an existing demo plan of what we're going to take out. If you go to SP3 is just the details. We can go back to that, but SP4 would be the proposed plan. And if you see in here, basically, it's the same plan as Peter's plan. The only thing is we show 5 Cultec units in the center underneath the lower terrace to connect and pick up the runoff from the entire new lower terrace and upper terrace roof, plus a little more. We have a little fluff in there for that. It was never, basically it was surface runoff before. The way it's going to happen is we're going to connect a couple of the existing roof leaders into the water quality tank, which is labeled as number 1, I believe, the top one by itself. And the runoff from the lower terrace is going to run down to that half moon perimeter. And there's a detail for a under drain or a curtain drain filled with decorative stone on top in that planting bed area. Basically, if you looked at some of the pictures, the original has precast concrete planters around the edge. So the club, although I guess you could consider it landscaping, it's more seasonal planting to go with the seasons. So we're getting rid of that planter and the wall and basically leveling off and then sloping down to the existing grade, with basically grass surface and a 3 or 4 foot wide planting bed to take the place of the concrete planters. So what's going to happen is from the edge of the building out towards the sound, it's going to be a slight pitch and the water is going to go into that drain around the perimeter into a pipe, go into a junction box or a little catch basin, and then go into the water quality unit and then into the Coltex for storage and eventually percolate into the ground. So that's the pretty much the guts of the stormwater system. As you can see, there's not too much, grading there. That wall is maybe 2 foot high at the highest point around towards the, I guess, the northeast. But other than that, like I said, it's minimal compared to the overall site. Somebody was mentioning about the 2017 project that involved the new platform tennis courts, reconfiguration of the driveway, parking area, and I think they installed about 30 or 40 Coltech units there for drainage, for additional drainage. So it's a much, much, much bigger project. So
Nunzio, just to correct, the previous one was a much bigger project, not this. I just want to make sure that we.
Yeah, no, I said that's just
Okay. Right. I just
the
want to
chair
make sure
mentioned
there's no
about the
confusion.
yeah.
So this is simpler. Yes.
Yes, much simpler. And then if you want to go to SP3, which is the details for erosion control, this is all part of the SWIP plan. I've gone through this with Kellard Sessions, with Brian Hillebrand, the village's engineering consultant. So they're pretty much on board with it. You can see the silt fence, the hay bales, the soil stockpile, tree protection. I think there's one tree near where the existing ramp is on the southeast side that's going to be protected. That's the only one that's really in the way. This one, yeah, that one right there. The other trees are further back away from the project. So and then SP5 is the details, which will show how we're going to get the drainage, the Coltex, all the stormwater details.
Okay, all right, thanks for the overview.
I want to preface, I'm pleased with the due diligence. Again, this wasn't just academic. We've been working on this for several months, and when we appeared before your board this evening, we wanted to make sure we had the issues covered, especially in light of its location. And I feel very confident that the 44 policies that the LWRP covers will all be satisfied by this application, especially in light of the fact that the incorporation of the water retention and complex system that Nunzio was making reference to.
Yeah, if you look at the detail, the second detail down, Peter, in the middle, the what is it, number 5, number 1, 2, 3, is it the under drain detail? That yeah. So that shows at the edge of the terrace, it shows an edging to define the edge of the lower terrace, and then there's going to be grass over. You see that little box with a pipe in it. That's where the water is going to flow into, and then eventually that pipe goes to the little catch basins inside that planting area, which lead to the dry well units.
One thing that you will have to provide before you come back to the planning board the next time would be a landscape plan. Or actually, CZM may need that as well.
Did we have, I think
we have a landscape.
I think we have one. Do we have one? Landscape, it's a plan review checklist.
We gave the plan review, and what I noted in that when I filled it out was, although that rendering shows some plantings, there were really never any plantings there, and the club wanted to go with the use. They were using the concrete planters to plant seasonal plantings, spring, summer, fall, and instead of doing that with those raised, kind of ugly looking concrete planters, we're doing it on grade, and essentially, swapping out seasonal plantings.
Oh. That's interesting. Okay, I'm not sure how, we'll have to figure that one out. Our landscape architect consultant for the planning board is with us tonight. Normally, when people plant in the ground, they plant in the ground and they don't change out with the seasons. And they plant for interest for different seasons. And since you're so close to the sound, they also plant native species and perhaps provide some not only visual interest, but also especially low shrubs that you would need there. You could plant things that would provide food for the birds, especially as they're migrating through. This is the first time I've encountered someone who wants to change the plantings out. To do a site plan, we normally have permanent plantings. So that wasn't clear to us at all. All right.
Would you want, Chair, would you like us for further clarification? You said that the landscape architect consultant's on. I'm trying to look down. I'm trying to scroll.
Susan Oakley is here. I don't know.
Oh,
Susan.
hi, Ms. Oakley. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm fine. How are you?
That's something that we could easily coordinate on communications with Ms. Oakley. We've worked with her in the past and she's very responsive and provides good input. So we could absolutely do that, Chair.
Just make sure that the planning department staff is also involved. We have to follow code requirements when we do site plan review. That includes the landscape and the, tree protection and stuff like that. So we're going to need to check what we need to do with an applicant who is basically proposing that they do seasonal plantings. Okay, because this is a new one. So no precedent that I know of. Okay, but we can just put it on our list of things to follow up on. HCZM, who's going to look at the stormwater management plan and other aspects more closely, might also have a comment about that. It goes with the site plan review.
No, I would anticipate before HCM that we will absolutely be in touch with obviously Ashley, Amber, and Ms. Oakley on that. We'll make sure that's done.
Okay.
Thank you for the comment and the input.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for the Mr. Pietrosanti, the engineer? I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
That's right. You got it.
It's very phonetic. St. Peter, correct?
Peter, correct.
Nobody has any questions? Okay. This is a good start. Okay, Mr. Spatz, you want to call up your next your next presenter?
Sure. Batting fourth, clean up. No, I'm just kidding. Why don't we bring in the team actually from Oriented Beach Club, and I'd like to introduce the general manager and president. We have Mark and Elo, who are both present, and gentlemen, you're on.
Do we need to have the screen shared? Can we see faces? Okay.
Yeah. So we have Elo Comfort, who's the club president, and Mark Sheehan, our general manager.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much more I have to add. I think for the club, this project, we are looking to replace a terrace that we've gotten 80 years worth of use out of, and it's reached the end of its life cycle. So we're not looking to do too much more, just add a little bit of a covered area so that we can get some additional use out of a spot that members really enjoy. We're hoping that we can make the most out of getting some nice views out of the sound by using the terrace, and hopefully extending some of the seasons by having a covered portion that we would be able to, kind of extend our seasons. So really, that's that's how the club kind of views the project. Mark?
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, just along the same lines. I mean, you know, Oriented Beach Club is a private member club down here. We really want to keep our the building, the property, the facilities in the best condition they can be in. The terrace out there is quite old and has, as Mr. Comfort said, has probably seen its useful life gone by. So it's really just, you know, looking to improve the aesthetics, ease of use, and make a more safer environment for our membership in an area that's that does get a lot of use for the members for dining in the season. That's it.
We feel it's going to be reflective of the environment and the serenity of the beachfront property. Mark, is there a way we could clarify the address? The application that we have reflects 1025 Rushmore and Avenue. And there was some discussion in terms of the other addresses that may be utilized for business purposes, mailings, et cetera, et cetera. I just want to clarify that for the record so that everything's consistent.
Yes, the address on file in the village is at 1025 Rushmore. Our mailing address, I guess over the years, I'm not sure how it came about, but is the 1054 Walton. There's a couple different entrances and exits at the club. I'm not sure how or when, many years back it was, but it's a mailing address, and the proper address on file at the village is the 1025 Rushmore.
Okay. That's that we were using because that's the one that that we have in the village files, even though the application had the Walton one. So there was a little confusion from the get-go on everything, like, where are you? No, we know where you are. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll use the legal address that's filed with the village.
And we also have with us Michael Murphy, a very distinguished individual here on the Sound Shore who needs very little of any introduction. Michael, I don't know if you want to add anything to the dialogue, but
Murphy Brothers Contracting, located in Mamaroneck, New York, the village. Delighted to be a part of the project, and that's about it.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone from the planning board have any questions they would like to ask? And Ellen, if you have any questions, even though you're not a voting member tonight, feel free to ask your questions. And the same thing with the staff, since I think we have clarification tonight more so than we had from the paperwork. Listening to people is much easier, and looking at the pictures with people explaining them is much easier than trying to go through the paperwork at this point. Anybody have any questions? No?
Kathy, I just wanted to suggest, in the past, when I've dealt with properties that were like corner lots and they had an address on both streets, we just listed it as AKA and put both addresses on the project. And that would eliminate any confusion.
Mr. Lippman, I've had that in other applications as well. And as long as it's okay with our village planners and
As long as your files, when we receive your files and we file them, we don't have both addresses because the file names will be way too long. We'll come up with you know, Oriented Beach Club or something just for our own internal purposes. So we're not dealing with file names that you can't see on the screen. Okay.
You would like us to continue using 1025 Rushmore Avenue, just to make for now? Okay.
If I may, in my experiences in the past as building inspector and town engineer in Scarsdale, Harrison, all over Westchester County, we had the issues. I had issues with that. I had to give addresses and whatnot. With the AKA, typically the property address that's on file, and then the mailing address, just to get rid of the confusion, AKA, in this case would be the other street, Rushmore, or whatever.
Okay. It's amazing how little things can trip you up. Okay, if no one on the panel has any questions for the applicant, this is a public hearing, and I don't know if there are any members of the public who are participating tonight who have any questions. But if you do, I think we asked them to raise their hands, is that correct? So that we can promote you to be able to speak.
If you're on the phone, press *9 to raise your hand.
I don't see any raised hands from audience attendees.
Okay, so then let's move on to the item of, we need to type the action under secret. Our planning staff has recommended a type 2 action, and I'm going to ask them to explain that to the board.
Sure. So the proposed project involves less than 4,000 square feet of gross floor area. It's a modification to an existing non-residential accessory structure. So it clearly fits in the definition of a type 2 action per section 617.5C9.
Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions for Ashley with regards to that determination? No? Then I need a motion to type this action as a type 2.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay.
They will swap roles.
Yes, you know, I can join in here too, but I do too much into this. Richard?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
And I would yes as well. And I guess we show Ellen as a non-voting member or something. You figure it out for the minutes.
Present.
Now we can also do a declaration of this wasn't part of what Ashley and Amber recommended to us as far as type 2. Type 2, we don't have to do anything. There's no secret review, right?
Right, that just ends the process.
That ends the process. So that means that you all are free to move on to HCZM.
Wonderful.
Mr. Spatz, you may not know this, but people have been going to BAR for sort of an initial determination before we finalize the site plan, so we don't have any confusion with BAR making changes to approved site plans. So, right. So you can go preliminarily to BAR as well, and see, you know, what their comments are, and then
Sure.
we can get their comments, and if there's any, you know, discrepancy in changes, then we can make them, and we don't run into problems down the road. We're trying to make this efficient and streamlined, this process.
So the roadmap, so that I can advise my clients accordingly, we would appear, obviously, with the HCZM. Do we have dates yet, Amber or Ashley? Do we have dates for 2021 for HCZM yet?
Yes, Amber put together a
Yes.
draft calendar.
Sorry, I was on I do have a calendar that's going to be released publicly by the end of this week, you know, barring any.
Listen, it's like the Fortnite updates that my kids are anxiously waiting. I'm waiting anxiously for the calendar for planning and zoning.
Yeah. Should be up publicly by the end of this week, but if you have questions about a specific date, you can also email me and I can give you.
I definitely will. And then we'll also appear before BAR and then full app it back before this fine committee. And when do we think planning? Do we have a date for planning though, for January? Is that towards the end of the month or?
That should be, is it
We meet
The-
twice a month.
The second and fourth Wednesdays of the month, unless,
7th?
so there's no second meeting in December.
Okay, understood. Okay. So we'll try to plan that accordingly and then round third and come right back. That'd be great.
You can. you
We'll
know.
try. Listen, I'm an optimist here,
I mean,
so
that would be great if we make up for, you know, lost time.
understand. Well, I don't have anything.
Any comments or anything? So thank you very much for a very clear and coherent presentation that really helped, I think, the planning board understand the project.
Well, Madam Chair and members of the board, we have a good team here, and I enjoy working with them, and I think the village will be proud, and the neighborhood will be proud of the final product, and even those that are seeing it from afar on the Long Island Sound. So we thank you. Wishing everybody a very safe holiday. Welcome all new faces, and we really hope in 2021 to actually be able to see you in person again, because I miss seeing you all in Village Court. Well, not in Village Court, but in the, you know what I'm saying, in the municipal hall. Yes, exactly. Miss seeing you all. So, anyway, be well. Thank you, and wishing everybody a safe and healthy holiday.
Happy holidays to all of you, and please, everyone, stay safe. Wear your masks. Okay, we'll go.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Happy holidays. Stay
Happy
safe.
holidays.
Thank you. We'll go back to the planning board only, and we have no other business for tonight unless someone wants to bring anything up. In which case, we'll wish everyone a happy holiday and safe holidays. And I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, and we'll just do a voice vote for adjournment.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, everyone, stay safe out there.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you very much for your time, and I'm sorry
Yeah,
I
stay
didn't introduce you. He snuck in there. Good
Good night.
night.
Yeah, sorry, I was having technical difficulties logging in, so I'm sorry I was a little late. But
Everybody
well,
was.
no, I was born in the wrong millennium. I should be used to all this, but I'm still adapting to technology 8 months in. So, but thanks for having me, and have a nice holiday.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you again soon.
All right, take care.